बोलिए। लैपटॉप यस सोनिका, प्लीज गो अहेड।
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी।
हरे कृष्ण। यस प्लीज गो अहेड। She's lost the connection. Anyone else who remembers what we discussed in the last session? What was the last session on? Yes, Purushottam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhu, after hearing from Lava and Kusa, the sages has given a lot of gift to them.
Yes,
So,
gifts and blessings. They're heartfelt.
yes.
And then thereafter, Ravinder, what happened then after that?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, after that they reached the assembly of Lord Ramchandra, and Lord Ramchandra gave them the golden seat and introduced in the assembly about them.
Yes. And now we will hear the city of Ayodhya. This chapter describes the city of Ayodhya. Ayodhya. Yodh means to in war, and Ayodhya means that cannot be conquered in war. So the city of Ayodhya means that no one can conquer Ayodhya. Ayodhya remains unconquerable. That was the city of Ayodhya, ruled by Lord Rama and his descendants. You have done the Mangalacharan or not done so far? Yes, no?
No, Prabhuji.
Om Jnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam yena bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padkamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagra Jatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dīnabandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshakarine. So Valmiki Muni describes, this is text 1, sarva-apūrvam iyam yeṣām āsīt kṛtsnā vasundharā prajāpatim upādāya nṛṇāṁ jaya-śālinām. This entire earth, unconquerable by anyone else, belonged to victorious king descending from Prajāpati Manu. So there is a summary. The first chapter, the Ramayana elucidated how one should take shelter of an ācārya in order to learn the teachings of the Veda by describing how Valmiki learned from Nārada Muni about Lord Rama. The next 3 chapters describe the effect of receiving the blessings of an ācārya. Direct experience realization on all subjects pertaining to the Lord, and the expertise to create a composition describing him. So what is the benefit of taking the shelter of a bona fide ācārya is mentioned. Now, in order to invoke further auspiciousness, the author seeks the acceptability of saintly persons through 4 verses. The entire earth refers to the earth of 7 islands. The kings descending from Prajāpati Manu, shown with victory. Anyone knows what are the 10 subject matters of Srimad Bhagavatam? Today I had this question. I gave the Bhakti Vaibhav test also today. So one of the question was, what are the 10 subject matters of Srimad Bhagavatam? Like Bhagavad Gita, we have 5 subject matters. Bhagavatam has 10. That's a beautiful verse. And one of the subject matters is sthanam, which means the planetary system. And the other is manvantara. Manvantara means the change of the manus. So here both are mentioned, that the entire refers to the earth of 7 islands, sthanam, the kings descending from Prajāpati Manu, shown with victory. So it is coming from Manu. So there are 14 Manus who keep changing. That Manu was himself the Prajāpati, will be stated in Ramayana 170:20. Yeṣām sa sagaro nama sagaro yena khanita shashti putra saharshani iyaṁ paryavarayan. Among such kings was the famous king named Sagara, who in the descendants of King Manu. Prajapati, you know, the progenitors. Prajapatis are those who have been empowered to expand the population. When we will go further in the Srimad Bhagavatam, it will come. There are many sons of Brahmaji who are all Prajapatis. So one of the Prajapatis are Manu, because they have been given this service to expand the population. So amongst those famous Manus and in their descendants was a famous king known as Sagara or Sagara, who had the earth dug up, thus bringing about the ocean. So that is why he is known as Sagara, because he dug up the earth to expand the oceans, who was followed by his 60,000 sons. So this is the description of the history of Ayodhya. He then describes a little about the victorious nature of those kings. Sagara was a famous king, so famous that the ocean got the name Sagar after Sagara. His 60,000 sons followed him while on a military expedition when he dug the ocean. Though other kings existed in the dynasty beginning from Ikshvaku, Sagara alone is mentioned as he renovated the earth. So it is coming from, you know the verse, Imam vivasvate yogam. Then next, Proktavanaham avyayam Vivasman manuve prahur. So Vivasman spoke to who? Manu. And Manu Ikshvake Abravit. So in that dynasty of Ikshvaku, whom the Supreme Lord gave this transcendental knowledge, there came this great the king called Sagara. And why he is called Sagara? The details are mentioned, because he dug up the Sagar. And how many sons he had? Unimaginable. When we hear the Shastras, people many times lose faith. Just because they cannot have, they feel that it could not be possible. People cannot afford to have 2 sons now. What to speak of 60,000 sons? They cannot even afford now 1 son or daughter. But see the glorious past, the dynasty. Ikshvakunam idam tesham rajanam vamse mahatmanam mahat utpannam ākhyānam Rāmāyaṇam iti shrutam. This great historical narration about the descendants in the dynasty of those greatly powerful kings from Ikshvaku, famous as Ramayana, have been composed by the mercy of Lord Brahma. The Ramayana appeared by the blessings of Lord Brahma, and Vamsha here means a descendant in the dynasty. The sage Valmiki humbly considers himself a mere instrument in bringing about its appearance. The hero of this book has the excellence of possessing great fortune, the fortune of ruling over the entire planet, noted in the first text of this chapter, and the excellence of being born amongst greatly noble persons. So both are important. So before the city comes, the legacy, the lineage is being talked about, where Lord Rama appeared. Tadidam vartayasiyami sarvam nikhilam adita dharma kamartha sahitam shrotavyam anusuyava. I will broadcast the entirety of this Ramayana. This is Valmiki ji speaking, which grants dharma, artha, kama, and moksha without any omissions. From the beginning, it should be heard without envy. So, how to study Ramayana is mentioned here. Valmiki ji is recommending that from the beginning, it should be heard without envy. What it means to hear without envy? How can we say that, okay, theoretically we are following, we are studying from the beginning, but how can we say we are studying without envy? Who can say that he is studying without envy? What it means? Okay. Everywhere this verse is there. Shrotavyam anusuyave. This is what Krishna tells Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita also. Why I am revealing this knowledge to you? Because you are anusuyave. What it means to be anusuyave? Quickly, Prabhu, I am already late. We have very less time. Why are you thinking you have studied Bhagavad Gita? There is so much of bewilderment in your mind. That means there is envy. Otherwise, there would be clarity and immediately the answer should come. Yes, Ramya.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, by accepting whatever principle given.
Very simple. These foolish people, they do not accept what Krishna is speaking. This is what Arjuna said. Sarvameta ditan manne janmam vadati keshava. I accept everything what you say is truth. This is what it means to be without envy. Not easy. Not easy. This is what means to be without envy. Arjuna heard it without envy. How? Because Arjuna declared that whatever you say, I consider it to be to the truth. And you are all thinking what it means to hear without envy. In so many years and so many days, what have you done? I am really embarrassed. If this Ramayana has come about by the blessing of Lord Brahma, what Śrī Vālmīki's duty, this verse points out that his duty was only to broadcast in its entirety from the beginning. That is, from the narration of the beginning of its writing. It should be heard by the intelligent without envy. That is, it should be heard with devotion, respect, and faith. The previous verse stated the subject matter. This verse states its goal and audience. It has stated earlier that by reading this Ramayana, one is liberated from all sinful reactions. Ya pathet ramacharitam sarva-pape pramuchyate. Therefore, in addition to dharma, artha, kama, and moksha, is understood to be another goal of this book. Koshalo nama mudito spito janapado mahan nivishita sarayuttare prabhuta dhanadhanyavan. Kaushala is a well-known as large, populated and happy country. Kaushal, as we know, Kaushal, filled with abundant wealth and grains, situated on the banks of river Saryu. So Kaushal is the region, the Rajya. Now the author has declared what he will describe the life history of Lord Rama. He first shows the opulence of the land fit to be incarnated upon by the Lord. Happy country. Kaushal means happy country. The entire country is happy. It's figurative expression. It means that its residents were happy. Janapada refers to a country or land. The country was both on the banks of river Saryu. Ayodhyā nama nagari tatrasi lok vishruta manuna manuvendrena yapuri nirmat swayam ayatada shachadave jayodhanani mahapuri Srimati Trinivristaina Suvibhakta Mahapatha Raja Margena Mahata Suvibhaktena Shobhita Mukti Pushpa Avakirnana Jalasiktena Nityasha. So now comes the point. There was a city in Kaushal. Kaushal means, what does Kaushal mean? Ganesh, what does Kaushal mean?
Happy country.
Yes, happy country. In that happy country, there was a city in Kaushal famous throughout the world named Ayodhyā. That was personally constructed by Manu. So this city was not constructed by any ordinary personality. This was constructed by Maharaj Manu himself, the Lord of mankind. The splendorous city, the splendorous center of the city was 12 yojanas long and 3 yojanas wide, with properly divided highways extending to various regions. Find out how much is 1 yojana, how many miles is 1 yojana. So it was 12 yojanas long and it was 3 yojanas wide. It was beautiful with a properly arranged grand royal road leading to the outer edge of the city. The road was strewn with unwoven flowers, fallen off the trees and sprinkled with water throughout the year. So this is the opulence, the grandeur of the capital of Kaushal, that is Ayodhyā. The author now describes the city fit to be descended upon by the Lord. Manu had personally constructed the city, that is, it was as if he had personally planned to construct this city. The measurement pertains to the mandal of a city. Mahapuri refers to a center of the city which measured 12 yojanas in length and 3 yojanas in width, including other peripheral regions. Ayodhya's measurement would be larger. The highways were properly divided, that is, trees were planted on either sides. The roads were sprinkled with water during the rainy seasons by the rains. Otherwise, they were sprinkled with water by men. The city was beautiful with the Rajmarga. Rajmarga means, can anyone remember of Rajmarg? What does Rajmarg mean? Let me see how much devotion is there. What does Rajmarg mean?
National highway.
Grand road. And who moves on the grand road?
King.
These are Jagannath devotees. They know nothing. Yes, Sonika.
Lord Jagannath is only
Yes,
during
Lord
Rath
Jagannath
Yatra.
Yatra is there every year on that grand road. It's Rajmarg. That is the Rajmarg, grand road. That starts from the king's palace, isn't it? It starts from where? It starts from Sri Mandir. That's the king's palace. Tam tu Raja Dashrato Maharashtra Vivardhana Purim Avasyam Asadevam Devapatir Yatha. King Dashrath, where is Dayashil Prabhu? He is not hearing. Dayashil, where are you?
I'm here.
King Dashrath, the enricher of his great kingdom, established the city as his capital, just as the Lord of the Devas established the heaven Amravati as his capital. So, Valmiki Muni is giving the opulence and the majestic surroundings of the city. How it can be compared? It can be compared only to the city which is the capital of the demigods, Amravati. The city had this excellence. It was presided over by the great king. You know what is the meaning of King Dashrath? What does Dashrath mean? Simple. Dashrath. Yes, Sonika?
Guruji, who have conquered in all 10 directions.
Yes. Who can fight at one time and conquer all the 10 directions. Such a prowess. Such expertise. So the city had an excellence. It was presided over by the great king, who enriched his great kingdom by maintaining it in accordance with Vedic Dharma. He was superior to the previous kings of his dynasty. There are other big verses, many verses together, 10 to 19. Hear patiently. Kabato tornavritam suvibhakta anarpanam sarvarantra ayudhavantim upetam sarva ashilpibhi sutamagada sambandham Shrimatam atula prabham uccatala dhvajavatim shatagni shat sankulam vadhunataka sangahaste samyuktam sarvatapurim udyanamra vanopetam mahatim mekhalam Durga Gambhira Parigraham Durgam Anye Durasadam Vajivarana Sampurnam Gobirut Utshre Khairastatha Samantaraj Sanghesa Chabali Karmabhiravritam Nana Desh Nivasis Chavani Bir Upasabhoshitam Prasaday Ratna Vikrite Parvater Upashobhitam Utagare Sampurnam Indriyas Evan Amaravitam Chitramashta Padakaram Varanari Ganeryutam Sarvaratna Samkirnam Vimana Grahashobhitam Grahagandham Avichedam Samabhaumo Niveshitam Shalitandul Sampurnam Ikshukanda Rasodakam Dundubir Mridangascha Veenabhi Pavanestatha Naditam Risham Atyartham Prithivyam Tam Anuttamam Vimanameva Siddhanam Tapasa Adhigatam Divi Sunibhishita Veshmantam Narottam Samartavan. Here the description of the Ayodhya city. The city had fine gates with upper decorations, separated marketplaces, all kind of weapons that were machinated or otherwise, all kind of artists. It was crowded with sutas and magadas. We will hear what is sutas and magadas. Prosperous with incomparable splendor, with flags on tall multi-story buildings and innumerable Shatagni devices. There were young girls dancing in dramas all over the city. With mango forest orchards, the great city was girdled by the boundary wall. With a wide and deep moat, it was difficult to reach the unassailable by enemies. The city was filled with horses, elephants, as well as cows, camels, and donkeys, surrounded by vassals paying due taxes. It was beautiful with people from various lands and merchants who had come to sell and buy goods. It was adored by palaces that were specially made with jewels, as well as sporting hills. Filled with sloping rooftops, it was like Indra's Amravati. It had several royal houses with 8 zones in each, as well as beautiful women. It was filled with all kinds of jewels. It was splendid with Viman houses. Viman houses, aeroplanes. Spotless houses for families, closely networked, were constructed in lands, neither low nor high. It abounded with white paddy and grains, with water as sweet as sugarcane juice. Water was as sweet as sugarcane juice. It was very best place on earth, greatly resounding with drums, mridangas, veenas, and cattle drums, like an airplane obtained by people perfected through austerity on heaven. It had houses whose interiors were beautifully constructed, and it was filled with the best of men. This is the description of city of Ayodhya. The marketplaces were non-congested. It was not like Delhi's Chandni Chowk. It was non-congested. There were machinated weapons in the city to throw stones and so on. Why? Because it was Ayodhya. No one could conquer. If anyone attempted, there was this machinated system. Immediately the army which is attacking will be targeted. There were other weapons such as bows and arrows. All those used in the world were found in Ayodhya. There were artists such as painters. So Sutas and Magadas. Sutas are professional reciters. Professional reciters are called Sutas. They are employed by the king. And Magadas are those who wake up the king. The city was prosperous with wealth and grain. The Shatagni military devices were kept on the wall of the city. There were innumerable in number. This was the device at that time in Treta Yuga to detect any of the advances of the enemy. Each of the 8 zone royal houses had a royal house in the center surrounded by 4 pathways in 4 directions and space between the pathways. The jewels that filled up Ayodhya are those which have been enlisted in the Nighantu. Vimana refers to a house fit for emperors. Oh, Viman does not mean here the aeroplane. Viman refers to a house fit for emperors. And Avichidram means spotless. And Sali refers to white paddy. Ayodhya was filled with the best of men, that is the learning. Ye chabane na vidyanti viviktam aparasparam shabda vedyam cha viditam lagu hasta visharada simha vyagra varahana mattanam nardatam vane antaro nishita shastre balad bahu balerapi darshanam saharshes tamabhi puranam maharathe purim avasyam asaraja dashrathas tada tam agnim vir punavadbhir avritam Dijottamar Veda Shadanga Paragraha Saharsade Shatyaratne Mahatmabhir Maharishi Kalpe Rishibhir Cha Kevala. Further descriptions of Ayodhya. It was saturated with thousands of Maharathas. They were learned in weaponry, capable, and did not attack even with arrows. A person who had been deserted with no assistance, who had no one in his family above or below him, who was in hiding or who was on the run. We'll talk about how they followed the religion in war, dharma. So they would kill mad lions, tigers, and wild boars that rode in pride in their forest with the forces of their minds and with the strength of their arms, their resistance using sharp weapons. King Dasharatha made such a famous city his place of residence. The city abounded with the best of the twice born, possessing great intelligence. They lit their sacrificial fires, possessing Brahminical qualities such as control of mind and senses, had crossed the ocean of study of the Vedas and 6 Vedangas, and gave abundant charity. They were fixed in speaking truthful words. Though mere sages, they were like Vashisht and the Maharishis. So it talks about the residents. So what kind of residents were there? They were great soldiers on one side, great warriors who could perfectly follow the code of dharmas, and on the other side were the great sages who were very well versed in the Vedas and the Vedangas, and these sages were led by Vashisht and other Maharishis. So this ends this chapter. Okay, I'll read the commentary, just a couple of minutes. The Acharyas explain the final verse as follows. This elucidates the Shruti text that said that qualified Brahmanas desire to realize the Supreme Being through sacrifice, charity, austerity, and fasting. Dvijottama, Dvija Uttama. Dvija means the twice born. Who is the twice born? What is the technical definition of a twice born? Who will answer? Devadat, what is twice born? Dvija. And then amongst the Dvijas, Uttama.
Prabhuji, the Brahmanas who undergo the Upanayana Sanskar, they are called as the twice borns.
Okay. Okay. And Uttama means one who has realized. One who has realized the Vedic version. Those who have absolute the absolute truth. So they are Dvijottama. Twice born, why they go through the Upanayana Samskar? To study Vedas. This is what was mentioned. That this they possessed Brahminical qualities such as control of the mind and senses, had crossed the ocean of study of the Vedas and 6 Vedangas. So they had all come to the final conclusion. And they were led by the sages like Vashisht and other Maharishis. So Dvijottama indicates that the city abounded with the best of the twice born who had taken initiation into Vedic studies at the age of 8. No, that is the right time of Upanayan. They had studied the Vedas, including the Upanishads as well as the Vedangas. They carried out fire sacrifices. They gave items in charity to qualified Brahmanas to the best of their ability. Mahatma B indicates that they greatly endeavored to execute austerities. They possess qualities such as sama, control of mind, which refer to the scripture. Satya Rate indicates that the spiritual realization has matured into devotional service unto the Supreme Brahman, who is described the truth of the truth. Satasya Satyam Kevalai. Indicate that they did not boastfully reveal their exalted spiritual nature. Rishi B indicate that they were very thoughtful of the spiritual truth taught in the Vedic literature. Maharishi Kalpe indicate that they were like the Lord associate in Vaikuntha and the Suris. The city abounded with such Brahmanas because they had assembled here, knowing that the Supreme Personality of Godhead would incarnate here. Dashrath made this city his palace of residence. Dashrath cities abounded with such genuine Brahmanas. So the next chapter will be chapter 6, which talks about the residents of Ayodhya. Om Tat Sat. We'll stop here, and possibly we will continue tomorrow on the chapter. Small chapter. We'll take 2 chapters then tomorrow. It has 28 verses. Let us see. Śrī Vālmīki Rāmāyaṇa ki jaya. Srila Prabhupada ki jaya. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. Okay, tomorrow class online or offline. I don't know. If my health improves, definitely I have a desire to come. I am sitting in front of you, but you do not know what is the intensity of health. You may ask Devashish. Yeah, it is really in bad shape. My BP was yesterday 178 by 119. Very, very high. And I had 102 fever. And since yesterday, I have had several rounds of loose motions. I don't know. If it improves, definitely I'll come. So please pray. Pray for me, chant for me. By your power of prayers,